and welcome back. All right, so we're here with another referral partner. We have Olivia here with us today. I adore this woman. We speak the same language on so many things, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about as we start getting into this conversation. But Olivia, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Suzanne, I'm super excited to be here at long last, as we were just talking about off camera.
Absolutely. Life is lifing out here. And, when the universe tells us to do something, we try to listen to her, but sometimes the timeline doesn't line up the way that we're supposed to. But you know what? Everything works out the way that it's supposed to. So at the end of the day, we're all happy. So everyone, just remember, at the end, you're going to get a free gift from Olivia, just like every referral partner offers a free gift. You stick around to the end, you get access to that keyword, and that keyword is going to get you access to that free gift. So don't miss that. All right. So Olivia, girl, tell us more about you and your business because like I know like when we were just talking for a good 20 minutes, just back and forth about like how much we like, really sink into like the same stuff. So tell us more about what it is that you do and how you serve people.
Oh, so excited. Yeah. I think a few minutes ago, I was like, we got to force ourselves to get on camera because we're just saying all the juicy stuff. And so, yeah, I'm really on a mission to help leaders like be who they're meant to be as leaders. Like tapping into their truest self. And the thing is, it changes, right? We're born with a core true self. It'll always be here, but it'll take different shapes. And in my coaching and consulting, what burned me out was the conformity culture. They just do it like this person, just be like that, just take this edge off, just a little of this and a little of that. And next thing I knew, I was like shrinking and holding myself in all the time. And then ending the day like too flipping exhausted. And then burnout to the point of depression, mental health stuff. So I've been on a long road to recovery. And now I'm on a mission to say, F this conformity BS. Like your authentic leadership is what the world needs right now. Whoever you are and whatever that is, doesn't mean we're unleashing on people, doesn't mean we're untethered. But the more we tap into who we are authentically at our core, the better we can live and honestly lead and love. So I am all about who are you supposed to be in this world and what does that look like, not what is that cookie cutter model.
Oh, girl, yes. Thank you. Fucking scream that shit from the rooftops because
Yes.
this is where we speak so much of the same language because when you are in this like mindset of like I've got to do it exactly this way, it really does take away who you are and it challenges your integrity. So, beyond being authentic, you lose yourself. You lose yourself. And like, we've talked to clients over the years that like, it's come into this mindset for them of, oh, well, but this coach said I have to do this, and this coach said that I have to do that, and this coach said that I have to do this. It's like, cool. What feels good for you? They're like, none of it. I'm like, then why the fuck are you doing it? Right. So like
Exactly.
when you're working with these people, like there's gotta be this like this thing, this like common thing that keeps showing up with all those clients. So what's the common thing? Like what's the common thread that kind of ties these people together that it's like all the people that you work with, this is what they kind of come to you with. What does that look like?
Yeah, I just went to I was visiting a networking group a couple days ago actually, and they actually asked me to give a talk on executive function, but I was like, not really. I'm gonna talk about leadership. But I used it from the myth standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear people say the myth is, I just need more productivity. I just need more focus. I just need a better tool, CRM, AI, automation, whatever. But the reality is, those are just dealing with the symptoms. What you actually need is to figure out who the fuck you are, how the fuck you want to continue to lead, and let that be your guiding light, your grounding point, and making decisions based off of that once you have better touch to it comes easier. And then your executive function gets better because you're not overtaxing yourself by bobbing and weaving based on all the obstacles, all the feedback that's being thrown at you, et cetera, et cetera. So I tend to work predominantly with women, but not exclusively. But I see this with the men I work with too. They don't call it boundaries, but it's boundaries because it's like, oh, but I'm adaptable and I'm flexible. And I really like to use Korn Ferry's leadership architect competencies. It used to be Lominger, but they got bought out by Korn Ferry. And it's 38 competencies that are used in the workplace. You don't need all 38 all the time. But there's one in particular I love, and it was my favorite. It was the thing that I was the best at. Situational adaptability. You adapt to the environment, you adapt to the situation. And it's great to be skilled. It's even better to be talented. But when you tip into overused, you are on the fast path to all that stuff where you say, I just need more focus. I just need more productivity. I just need better tools. The overused is the red line. It's the danger, danger, danger. And it's all of that bobbing and weaving and just like, don't tick off this person and I'm going to go indelicate like that. And oh, they said I need to be more of this. And you get so exhausted.
Hmm.
So what is it you need instead? Right? You need to know who you are and the ground you stand on. So all that
Right.
bobbing and weaving is fatiguing.
Oh, without question, without question. And it's exactly what you were saying. It's like, what we talked about even before we even got on camera was when you're doing that, you have your sales come through as pushy, right?
Yeah.
When you're trying to talk with clients, it's coming across as pushy. It's coming across as not oh, I know my shit, but more of like, hey, buy my shit. And it's like you're shoving things down people's throats because you feel like you need to force things because you're so tense. You're literally pushing things away, right?
Yeah.
And when you're in that place of pushing everything away, you're also pushing away your clients. By the way,
Yeah.
like,
I have this story about my entrepreneur experience that I don't love, but it is just that. When I was first going into business for myself, I hired this business coach, bro business coach. This is how you do it. Just follow my system. You'll make 100 grand in your first year, right? And he wouldn't let me sell anything that was under a $10,000 package. But I had never sold anything outside of my student coaching, which is pretty cheap, right?
yeah,
So it was such a leap. I couldn't make that leap. There were no steps in between. I
right.
spent almost 20 grand working with this guy. And you know how much money I made?
Zero.
A penny. I mean, luckily, he also tacked on a 12% commission, which he never got. So that left me feeling a little bit better because the way he was teaching me to sell was in a bro marketing standpoint and just do it and harder. And when they say, no, I got to talk to my husband, and you say, your husband's not in charge of you, and don't you want a better life? And he'll be happier. And all of these things that are not me. When
Hmm.
someone says, I need to talk to my husband, I say, of course you do, because you are in a loving, trusting partnership where you make decisions together. And you know
Yeah,
what? We'll come back and talk about it. And when they come back and they say, we just can't swing it right now, I say, okay, is there something else where we can meet in the middle? Or do you want me to come back? And then I find 6 months, 8 months, a year, however long later, they're like, I can't get out of my head what a great
hmm,
fit it is and how supportive you were to me. Not only am I coming back, but I'm referring people. That's
exactly.
my way of doing it. Someone else has
Yep,
another. But when we try to do it the way another person, just follow this map, it'll work. People read your misalignment and your energy before anything else. It's more than 70% of human communication is body language. And like you said, if we're out of alignment, if our energy is off, if we're forcing it, we can say all the right words and with all the right tone, but people feel that something's not right here and I gotta run.
exactly. It's the ickiness. Exactly. It's like the ickiness just kind of like, comes out on everybody. Like, I do exactly the opposite of what every sales coach will ever tell you to do. And we actually lock our contracts and our payment for 24 hours. So we tell the client, like, hey, listen, we're going to send this over to you, but you can't execute it. They're like, why? Like, because we want you to understand this is not just us committing to you, this is you committing to us. We need to make sure that you're serious. You're going to put in the work, you're going to put in the effort, you're going to do the things that we're going to ask you to do. This is not a one-sided relationship. So we're going to send this to you, but we're going to lock it for 24 hours. So you have time to review it, send it to your attorney, do whatever you want to do by all means. But we want to make sure that you're going to put the effort in just like we are.
Yep.
And when 24 and a half hours hits, it's always signed
Mhm.
because we're saying, like, listen, we want to know that you're going to be doing this work too. Like, we're working on this together. We have to make sure that we're on the same page. And every single sales coach that I've ever talked to is like, are you crazy? I'm like, a little bit, but it's fine. But
But it works for me. It's
but
my
it
brand of
works.
crazy.
Exactly, because when you're in that space of like you trust yourself and you trust your internal authority and you trust your energy and you trust your processes and you trust what it is that you do, you don't worry about that shit anymore, right? Like when you're in that leadership headspace, you don't worry. You know that like it's going to show up the way that it's supposed to show up. Either if it's not right now, it's they're going to come back when it is the right time. I've had clients, people that go off for like 6 months and then come back 6 months later and say, hey, you know what? I really need to work with you. I'm like, cool. Let's see how we can fit you into my roster. I've had people come back to me after years and say, hey, you know what? I've been following your stuff. I've been seeing your stuff constantly. It keeps showing up for me. I have to I have to be able to work with you.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's have that conversation, right? It shows up the way that it's supposed to when it's supposed to, you know?
Mhm.
So talk to us a little bit about like that leadership. Like when you trust that leadership with inside of yourself, what transpires from that? Because like this, the outcome that comes out of this is like freaking batshit crazy and we love it so much. But it's the massive differential between where they are when they're in the do everything somebody else's way compared to when they're in their leadership style. It's like night and day difference. So can you tell us a little bit about what happens when people have worked with you through this process and now they're on the other side and they're in that leadership authority? What does that look like?
Yeah. So as you were talking, I was really remembering, and this is where people start in my coaching journey and probably in working with you too. Actually, I know in working with you, it's the seeker mentality. I am constantly looking for the thing out here that is going to fix me, the issue, whatever, right? And it's got to be something or someone else that's going to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the seekers, they find us, and different seekers find us for different things, right? And then we say, okay, what if, maybe not? I always say maybe not, but I haven't been proven wrong yet. What if what you are looking for out there is already here? What if we could find that and use that to build everything else? Because there might be external resources and support that will reinforce it. But what if it's just here? So let's start on that journey. Let's move through that journey. And with that, it's then a constant process of experiencing life, experiencing leadership, experiencing challenges. And many people come in for business. I mean, some people come in for life challenges. Most of my people come in for business or entrepreneur challenges.
Mm,
And then I'm like, where else does that show up in your life? And they're like, well, as a matter of fact, my husband, kid, whatever, right?
yeah.
It's like, oh, turns out everywhere you go, there you are. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then we use those stories of your everyday life, those experiences, your real life lived experience, and play with that and say, and how does this connect with what you're looking to resolve or who you are on the inside? And I don't want to give away all the magic juice of the
Oh no.
work I do, but I work a lot in metaphor and analogy. And so coming back to those and saying, how might the old metaphor be the way that this has been breaking down? And how might the new metaphor empower you to transcend the way it was breaking down, operate just slightly differently, but in that vein of authenticity, right? What
Mm-hmm.
got you here may not necessarily get you there. So then it's processorial. And then sometimes we get really tactical. Okay, for the next week, every time someone says do this, you pause and do a body check, right? Does it align? If it doesn't, how can I still stay in relationship with someone and say, not right now? Or you got to give me a minute, or whatever that is, right? So then it's coming back to your inner wisdom in these real life experiences and decisions.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. And at that point, you're actually like really tapping into your internal authority, your authenticity. I mean, I think that that above everything else is like what a lot of people are missing. And it sounds like you teach them exactly how to do that so that they can now take these tools moving forward and be able to tap into that whenever they want. So it's not like the only time you're gonna be able to tap into it is when you're working with me. It's like, no, you're teaching, you're giving them those life skills to be able to
Yeah.
carry that into every aspect of their life and every aspect of their business and every aspect of their day to day. And that is incredibly powerful.
I have
So,
I have my favorite story of all time.
yeah.
So Bernadette owned a medium-sized publishing house in the romance genre. Not a genre I ever thought I would work with someone in, and she's just amazing. She's an author and a publishing house owner. And when she came to me, we had actually met in a networking event. We crossed paths a couple of times, and she's like, I think I want to work with you. And it was something I never thought was really going to make a difference that she still talks about now. And we've been through a few different coaching engagement for different phases. But when she came in, she wanted to elevate her publishing house from medium to large, which she realized meant letting go of the hands-on day-to-day control of her business and building the right teams, trusting the right people, training them properly, and letting them execute with autonomy. So she came in thinking that that was what she needed. And we were about 2 sessions in, and she is like, my desk is a mess. They had just moved houses. She's like, so I've got boxes everywhere, and my desk is a mess. And there's this whole story about her dad, how he always had stacks and boxes of everything around his desk. So it was like a fortress where the kids couldn't get in and get into his stuff. And she was like, I just can't work at my desk right now, so I can't work. And I was like, you have to have a desk to work? And she's like, yeah, you work at a desk. And I was like, okay, do you always work at a desk? She's like, well, no, sometimes I work at my, kitchen island. And I was like, oh. And she's like, oh, sometimes I work on the couch. I'm like, oh. She's like, sometimes I work at a picnic table. I'm like, oh. She's like, can I work anywhere? I was like, yes, Bernadette, you can work anywhere you want. And she still talks about that just that permission to do what she knew was right for her opened up everything. She's like, my butt hurts from sitting in my chair. Like I can stand or I can go sit on my couch. Or she's like, I'm so much more productive because I'm going to the environments that meet the need of the work I need to do in that moment. Tiniest little thing opened up everything for her. And then she started going, wait, I guess I could trust my employees to kind of do the same. And you know what? They're more productive for it. So that's my story of listen to yourself and what we can unlock in coaching because sometimes we just need someone else to go, yeah, you get to trust yourself.
Oh God, yeah. And honestly, I think that's like the number one thing that coaches do is like, it's like, yeah, we're giving you permission to do this, but at the same time, we don't need to give you permission. You need to give you permission. So all we're doing is we're giving you permission to give you permission.
Exactly. I ask that question a lot.
You're
What,
like,
what permission do you need? I have a client who wants to return to his home country of Italy. And
mhm.
he's a professor in the US, so that's kind of hard to do, right?
Yep.
And he goes, I just want you to give me permission to move to Italy. I just said, what? What makes you think I have the authority to do that?
It's like, sure, I'll stamp your passport right now. Just just hop on that plane. You don't even need to buy
Yeah,
a ticket. You're good. Just go.
right. And so I was like, really, what makes you think I have the authority to give you that permission? It's your life. And he's like, I guess you don't. And I was like, yeah, so who has that permission? And he's like, me? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the boss of your own life. But that's where we go back to what we talked about in the beginning. We get so used to over adapting to the outside world, we forget we are
Mhm.
actually the bosses of our own lives. And we have been since about the time we were teenagers.
Oh,
Honestly.
absolutely. I mean, honestly, like I think that like a lot of it also goes back to like, the belief systems that were created when we were kids of we need permission to do so many things. And, I have to say, like, I worked out of permission asking or even forgiveness asking at some points too. And I'm like, I'm not going to be asking for permission and except for within myself. I ask myself, does this feel right for me to do? If it feels right for me to do, I'm gonna fucking do it. If it feels not right, if someone's asked me to do something and it doesn't feel right for me, I'm like, no, hard pass. I don't have a
Mhm.
problem saying that. I've had people say like, oh, I know you guys do retreats. Like, we want to be able to offer, what was it, the plant medicine on your retreats. I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Hard pass for me. And they're like, well, why? Like, do you have something against plant medicine? I'm like, plant medicine is not for me. I have no problem with other people doing plant medicine. I choose not to. I don't want that to be part of like associated with what I do because that's not what I do. I'm never going to stop anybody else. Everybody else has the right to do what they want to do. Not right for me. But again, that comes back to like, really tapping into that internal authority, the authenticity within inside of yourself that you help people find. So speaking of authenticity though, you have an amazing free gift. So let's talk a little bit about that free gift.
Yeah, so I'm offering here, and it gets like its final version rolled out here, like came through beta testing, and now it's like ready for exclusively released here first. Then it'll be available other places. So get it here first. Is the Leadership Alignment Workbook. And the subtitle of that being Lead with the Ease of Your Unique Authenticity. And it's inspiration and practices to help you come back to who you are, who you've always been, but who you're evolving into to make those decisions more easily without just spiraling in circles of what's the perfect and the right decision, and I'll never have a problem ever again if I just pick the right thing. We are overusing this. We're making it do 3 times the work because we forget that we actually have a gut brain. Science tells us that. How do we use that more? And then how do we open up the heart? Because the heart has compassion for us and others. And if we use all three, our brains are less tired because they're not doing 3 times the work. So that's what
So
I'm
true.
super, super, super excited to offer here.
I am excited and I'm so excited that we get to be the first ones to be able to put it out there for you. Yay! Thank you for that. All right. So if you want Olivia's free gift, drop the word authenticity into the chat below. So her and her team will then reach out to you guys and get you access to that free gift. Remember, authenticity inside the comments. Her and her team will reach out to you right away and get you access. Olivia, thank you so much for being here today. This was so fun. And honestly, girl, I could talk to you for like fucking ever about this shit because listen, like we need to get these voices out there about, hey, listen, we're so done with this crap. Like, let's let go of all of these narratives that don't feed us. Cause like, oh, girl, I adore you. So thank
I
you
am
so
with
much
you,
for being
sister.
here.
Thank you, Susanna.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.